The book of Genesis is the first book of the Bible and serves as the opening chapter of both the Hebrew Bible, Tanakh, and the Christian Old Testament. It encompasses a wide range of themes, including creation, the origins of humanity, the fall of humanity, and the beginnings of God's covenant relationship with his people. The book begins with the majestic account of creation, narrating how God spoke the world into existence over the course of 6 days, culminating in the creation of humanity in his image. In summary, the book of Genesis provides a foundational understanding of the origins of the world and humanity, the introduction of sin and its consequences, and the beginning of God's redemptive plan for his people. It sets the stage for the rest of the biblical narrative, laying the groundwork for themes of covenant, redemption, and the hope of restoration. The book of Genesis is divided into 2 main sections: primeval history, Genesis 1 to 11; patriarchal history, Genesis 12 to 50. In Genesis 1, we are presented with a structured and orderly description of the 6 days of creation. On each day, God speaks into existence different aspects of the world, bringing forth light, the sky, land, vegetation, celestial bodies, marine life, and animals. Finally, on the 6th day, God creates humanity, male and female, in his own image, granting them dominion over the earth and its creatures. God pronounces his creation very good and rests on the 7th day, sanctifying it as a day of rest. Genesis 2 offers a more detailed account of the creation of humanity and provides additional insights into God's relationship with his creation. It describes how God forms Adam from the dust of the ground and breathes life into him, making him a living being. God places Adam in the Garden of Eden, a lush paradise filled with every kind of tree and plant, and gives him the responsibility of tending to it. Genesis 3 narrates the tragic account of humanity's fall from grace, a pivotal moment that shapes the course of human history and sets the stage for the rest of the biblical narrative. In this chapter, we see the introduction of sin into the world and its devastating consequences. Genesis 6 to 9 recounts the story of Noah and the Great Flood, a pivotal event in biblical history that serves as a warning against human wickedness and a demonstration of God's judgment and mercy. We learn that humanity has become increasingly corrupt and sinful, leading God to regret creating mankind. However, amidst this pervasive wickedness, Noah stands out as a righteous and blameless man who walks with God. God decides to bring a flood to destroy all living creatures on the earth, sparing only Noah, his family, and a remnant of animals to repopulate the earth. God instructs Noah to build an ark according to specific dimensions, providing detailed instructions for its construction. Noah faithfully obeys God's command, building the ark over the course of many years, despite facing ridicule and disbelief from those around him. In Genesis 7, the floodwaters come upon the earth, raining down for 40 days and 40 nights, and the fountains of the deep burst forth. The floodwaters cover the entire earth, submerging everything under the heavens and wiping out all living creatures, except those aboard the ark. Genesis 8 describes how the floodwaters gradually recede, allowing the ark to come to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Noah sends out a series of birds to assess the condition of the land, eventually receiving confirmation that the earth is once again habitable. Noah and his family disembark from the ark and offer sacrifices to God in gratitude for his deliverance. In Genesis 9, God establishes a covenant with Noah and his descendants, promising never again to destroy the earth with a flood. Genesis 12 to 25 focuses primarily on the life and legacy of Abraham, a pivotal figure in biblical history known as the father of faith. These chapters detail God's call and covenant with Abraham, as well as the birth of his son Isaac and the subsequent generations of his descendants. Genesis 12 marks a significant turning point in the narrative, as God calls Abraham, originally named Abram, to leave his homeland, his family, and his father's household and journey to a land that God would show him. In return for his obedience, God promises to bless Abraham, make his name great, and bless all nations through him. Abraham demonstrates remarkable faith by obeying God's call, embarking on a journey into the unknown with his wife Sarah, originally named Sarai, and his nephew Lot. In Genesis 13-14, we see Abraham's faith tested as he navigates conflicts with Lot over land and resources. Despite their differences, Abraham demonstrates humility and generosity by allowing Lot to choose the land he desires, trusting that God will provide for him regardless. Additionally, in Genesis 14, Abraham courageously leads a rescue mission to save Lot and others who have been captured in a battle between kings. Genesis 15-17 further develop the covenant between God and Abraham. In Genesis 15, God reaffirms his promise to Abraham, assuring him that his descendants will be as numerous as the stars in the sky. In a solemn ceremony, God ratifies the covenant with Abraham through a sacrificial ritual. In Genesis 17, God establishes the covenant of circumcision as a sign of his everlasting covenant with Abraham and his descendants, promising to bless them and make them fruitful. In Genesis 18-19, we encounter the famous story of God's visit to Abraham and Sarah, where they are promised a son in their old age. Despite Sarah's initial disbelief, God fulfills his promise, and Sarah gives birth to Isaac, the child of the covenant. However, we also witness the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah due to their wickedness, highlighting the consequences of sin and disobedience. Genesis 20-25 continue to trace Abraham's journey and the challenges he faces, including conflicts with neighboring peoples, the birth of Ishmael through Sarah's servant Hagar, and the binding of Isaac, a test of Abraham's faith and obedience to God's commands. Genesis 37-50 narrates the story of Joseph, one of the 12 sons of Jacob, also known as Israel. This section of Genesis is filled with themes of family dynamics, jealousy, forgiveness, divine providence, and reconciliation. Themes and interpretations. As we reflect on the narratives presented in Genesis, several themes emerge, including creation, temptation, sin, redemption, and the relationship between humanity and divinity. These themes have sparked numerous interpretations and debates throughout history, shaping religious beliefs and philosophical discourse. Conclusion. In conclusion, the Book of Genesis offers a rich tapestry of stories that explore the origins of the universe, humanity, and the relationship between God and humanity. Its enduring influence transcends religious boundaries, captivating the imagination of people across cultures and generations. Whether viewed as sacred scripture or literary masterpiece, Genesis continues to provoke reflection and inspire inquiry into the mysteries of existence. Genesis lays the theological foundation for many key concepts in the Bible, such as the nature of God, the creation of humanity, the consequences of sin, and the importance of faith and covenant. It provides the genealogical history of the Israelites, tracing their ancestry back to the patriarchs. Genesis establishes the Abrahamic covenant, which forms the basis of God's relationship with the people of Israel and serves as a theological link to later biblical books. The narratives in Genesis offer moral lessons, including the importance of obedience to God, faith in his promises, and the consequences of sin. Overall, Genesis is a rich and multifaceted book that sets the stage for the larger biblical narrative, highlighting God's role as creator, sustainer, and covenant maker while exploring the complexities of human nature and relationships. Questions. Now, I invite any questions or comments you may have. Let's delve deeper into the fascinating world of Genesis together. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the book of Genesis. Have a wonderful day, and please don't forget to give a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you can stay up to date on all my new videos about the living word. God bless you all.